Hey guys, welcome to Nanny News. It's your host, Ashley, and we are a channel that shares the juiciest stories that take place in the industry. Also, keep you updated with all things happening with us nannies. This week, we are diving deep into another juicy story. This week is about a nanny, of course, and she got scammed from a family. She is out of pocket $5,000. Now, how? Y'all gonna want to stay tuned for this one. So sit back, relax, and let's get to another juicy episode. All right, guys, we are about to dive deep into a juicy episode. But before we do, I want y'all, do y'all see this setup we have right here? Oh, I'm so excited. I really wanted Nanny News to feel like a news channel. I wanted y'all to really feel like y'all was on you're logging into the news, your own channel. So we changed our outro. If you have not noticed, it's a different song. Same little pictures, same pictures a little bit, but a whole different song makes you feel like you're in the news. We have an intro that's in the works right now being made, that will also make you feel like you're, watching the news. And I wanted to purchase this desk and get a chair to really make it feel like it's the news. Because you know how these hosts be on the news channel? They be having their own little desks and papers and stuff. And so I want a Nanny News to be like that because honestly, you guys, ultimately, my goal is to get Nanny News on a news channel. Eventually, I would love to be on CNN or like Good Morning America, to really do a segment each week for Nanny News. I think it's so important for our community, but also just for the world to know about nannies. So that is a dream of mine and a goal of mine that we are going to happen here soon. But first, we got to get monetized on YouTube. With that being said, I need y'all's help with this monetization. I am one person only, and there are thousands and thousands of you nannies out there. And I am the only person that I've come across that does something like this, that shares stories like this. So there's no questions and there's no reason that my channel will not be monetized. But I need y'all's help by helping me spread the word about Nanny News. That's either by telling your nanny's friends about Nanny News. That's either helping me share Nanny News when you're on Instagram or Facebook or even on TikTok. If you see us posting, sharing the link, telling people about Nanny News. I really truly need your help. And y'all know we will return the favor by having y'all on our channel, by sharing things that you guys want to hear, by connecting you guys with just that's how we will turn our favor for that. So I need y'all's help. Go tell a friend to tell a friend to come subscribe to Nanny News. So I appreciate you guys. First of all, anyways, thank you all so much for the love and support that we have already received from Nanny News. But we're trying to get monetized. So let's get that going. But anyways, enough for the announcements for Nanny News over here. Let's dive deep into a juicy story. So like we said, we came across a story about this nanny and how she got scammed from her family and she's out of pocket now $5,000. This nanny, she goes by Bello. She is a college student and she came across an ad online for a nanny job. She wanted to share her story because she didn't want any other nannies to go through this because she wants you to warn about some of the red flags. Now, if you are a seasoned nanny that's been in the industry for a little bit, you will automatically start picking up on the red flags while I start sharing the story. So let's just get going to it. So Bello came across an ad online about a nanny position. Basically, the ad was stating that she would watch a 4-year-old girl after school. So she would pick her up from school and then she would go into the house and take care of the child after the evening. She was interviewed. And after, also, she was interviewed, y'all. Y'all ready for this? She was interviewed by email by a woman named Anne Margaret Taylor. So we were going to call Anne Taylor Miss Taylor. Miss Taylor was relocating from Brooklyn, New York, to work as a nurse at a different in another hospital. Additional to just watching the child, Bello, the employer, was to also help Miss Taylor get settled in and help with some of the house duties. So after they agreed with everything, Miss Taylor, which is her boss now, started sending checks to Bello, the nanny. The checks arrive by FedEx from an address in Dallas, Texas, which is really weird that the checks arrived via FedEx, but based off of how much, we got Zelle, we got Venmo, we got a lot of things that we can do on, transfer online. So, but anyways, the mom boss, Miss Taylor, she sent these checks to Bello, and the checks were addressed from Dallas, Texas, which should have been a red flag already because Miss Taylor is in Brooklyn, New York. But we all know that sometimes our payroll system is in a different state than where we're located at. So if I was in it, I would have asked her why is the check coming from Dallas just to get a better understanding. But Bello, she's a new student, she's a new nanny, she's in college, so she didn't know. Um, but basically, the first checks was to help buy household supplies, appliances, cleaning supplies, and she was sending the girls first week of pay up front. So two of the checks were deposited into Bello bank account. So the girl sent her a couple checks, right? So she ended up cashing two checks into her bank account. The name on the check read as Prime Home Health, which was addressed in Dallas, right? Um, an actual which is an actual business in Brooklyn, New York. Um, but remember, they were addressed from Dallas, Texas, so that's red flag number 3. The company is Prime Home Health, which is stationed in Brooklyn, New York, but the checks are coming from Dallas, Texas. Something ain't right, right? Something ain't right. But we all remember Bello's new. She's a new nanny. She doesn't know a lot of the red flags to look for situations like this. She's a college student, y'all, so I know how that is. She's just trying to look for some money, and I don't blame her. So she's not really caring. She probably found this good job, great pay, and not thinking nothing of it. Trusting these families that they have their together. But, anyways, Bella was asked to transfer $500 to one account and the remaining $2,700 to another account via Zelle. The money was for rent, groceries, and other supplies, like we mentioned earlier, and she sent the funds from deposit. She sent other funds from deposit checks from various Venmo accounts. But Bello said she never questioned sending funds to various. It's like so. Basically, the mom sent the nanny Bello. It looks like almost $3,000 or $3,200 from in these checks. Two different checks, right? They came from FedEx, addressed in Dallas, but when you open the check, the company's name on there was Prime Home Health, which was actually in Brooklyn, New York. And Bella was asked to transfer $500 to one account and then send the remaining money via Zelle to another account, which I'm not sure. I'm assuming this mom has 3 different accounts. I don't know. That should have been a red flag already. But like we said, Bello, she don't know. Bello says she never questioned any of this because she just thought sending funds to various accounts was part of the job description. So Bella has no idea. She's just thinking that, okay, yeah, I'll do this. Like, think about it. If your boss asks you to send some money, or they send you a payment and they're like, can you Zelle it, to another account? Personally, I wouldn't do it. I would think I would have to ask a lot more questions. But if I was a new nanny, I would think nothing of it. I would probably be like, yeah, no problem. I would be like her. Like, I thought this was part of the job. But as we all know that are seasoned nannies, we know that this is a huge red flag. Um, a few days later, Basically, a few days later, Bello started a few days after a while. Bello started realizing that these checks were flawed. These checks were fraud. And she confronted her boss, and she said that these checks are fraudulent. And she was like, "What does that mean?" And they were like, "These checks were fake." And I was like, "What does?" And the boss kept saying, "What does that mean?" And so Bello tried to confront her, and the boss, tried to play her game by saying that no, these aren't fraudulent checks. No, these are legit. So Bella did a little bit more investigation on her end, and she contacted the Prime Home Health Industry Company, and the company confirmed that these checks were fraudulent and that they were receiving a bunch of calls about these checks. So Bello had to go to her bank, and now her bank is charging her for basically telling her that there's nothing that they can do. You're going to have to pay back this money. Like, you're going to have to pay back the money because you deposited these checks into your name. They're sent to you and you deposit them into your bank account. So now you have to pay us back. Well, we all know, like, as a nanny, we call in the family right away. Like, hey, you sending some fraud checks. Now the bank is telling me I'm out of pocket $5,000. Like, you're going to have to fix this. Like, this ain't my fault. And of course, the employer blocked her, and Bella has no way to contact her or get a hold of her. Now, the story, it could use a little bit more details, because my question is, had Bello never met the mama? Because if my boss blocked me from everything and I'm out of pocket $5,000, I am going to their house where I nannied from and waiting until my mom boss came home to have a conversation first, person to person. Now, the story doesn't go into details of when Bello and this woman, Bello and her Miss Taylor, her boss, came into contact and had a conversation. It doesn't go into detail. So I have no idea why Bello, the nanny, decided, did not go into further, fight this more and really try to find this mom. I believe that a lot of this is that Bello, the nanny, didn't have a lot of experience and didn't know much of how to handle a situation. So that's why she wants to share this story, because there's not a, there's got to be more nannies out here that have dealt with this. So Bello is out of $5,000, y'all. She is out. Like, she is in collections now of $5,000. And she's blocked from her employer. Her employer has nothing to do with this. She has filed a police report, but cannot comment on private client matters. But she can't tell us more about it anymore, because it's starting to get more private and whatever. So she has filed a police report, and hopefully that the police will handle this for her. But as of right now, the girl is out of $5,000 because of her employer gave her fraudulent checks, and she cashed them, and not knowing that they were fraudulent checks until after they were cashed and deposited into her account. And we all know how banks are. They don't care about who deposit who money. They don't care. Once it's in your account, it is solely your responsibility for that money. So I had to share this story. It was too juicy not to share. I feel so bad for Bello. Like, I feel so bad for this nanny. She's a new nanny, has no experience whatsoever about this. But this just goes to show the true importance of knowing your knowledge before you're a nanny, and how important, like, just how important it is to be in, like, just to know your stuff as a nanny. We are our own HR people, y'all, and you have to know your stuff. You have to know, because these families will play games with y'all. Okay, I have gotten played by some families, and I know thousands of other nannies that have gotten played by some nannies, I mean, as by some families as well. Families will try to be the cheap route around it, because they don't, childcare is expensive. So they will try every way to go around paying the full price of things. So as a nanny, watch your back, keep your eyes open. And let me tell y'all, number one, don't ever, ever take an interview over email. Ever. That was step number one of her fault of this. I don't want to say her fault. Step number one of the red flags that Bella should have just cut it off then when we did an interview over the email. So I will dive deep into a little bit more of this story to find out if there is more information about it. If Bello is, if the police came back and helped her. It does say at the bottom that the story is now committed on a private client matters. So I'm not sure if the client got involved and wants to sign an NDA. Like, I don't know all that. So I'm assuming that's kind of what happened. But I will do my part and do a little bit more diving deep into it. And maybe we will have a part two about Bello, the nanny, and how she got scammed of $5,000. But I want to know, y'all, comment below. Have you experienced anything that has been scamming from your nanny families? Um, it's hard to, that's a broad, very broad word to use in our industry, but were you scammed of gas money or some health insurance, or were you scammed of some pay, like you worked a lot and you didn't get pay? Let me know. Let us know, because I know Bello is not the only nanny that has experienced this type of thing. So, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this juicy episode. Like I said, y'all, there are so many good things happening in this industry, like so many good, juicy stories that are taking place. Next week, we're going to dive deep into about this nanny, and she shared her experience of being an unbinary, gender person, and how her nanny experience has truly, truly helped her blossom her identity. And it's a beautiful story. I can't wait for y'all to hear about that. So stay tuned for next week's episode. In the meantime, comment below. Have you ever been scammed by your nanny family? And go tell a friend to tell a friend about nanny news. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you all soon.